Hey floor cleaners, it's John here, and in this video I want to talk about why it's so important that you take consistent, massive action in your floor cleaning business to take it to the next level. If you've never heard of me before, my name's John Williams and I run a company called AGB, otherwise known as Ads Grow Business. We specialize in the floor cleaning industry, whether it's carpet cleaning, tile cleaning, hardwood floor cleaning, etc., etc. And we specialize in one thing only, getting floor cleaning businesses like yours booked out with jobs on autopilot using our specialist digital marketing system. I'm on a personal mission to try to help as many floor cleaning businesses as humanly possible, not just survive but thrive, whether that's through working with us on a one-on-one basis inside of our specialist program or through this YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Why taking massive action consistently is the key to success with your floor cleaning business. The number one reason why most businesses fail, including floor cleaning businesses, is because they do not take massive action consistently. Taking action takes people out of their comfort zone, and that in itself makes people procrastinate. Making it in the world of business requires you to take risks, to be uncomfortable, to fail, to learn, and therefore it becomes very easy to put things off. I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. Fear of failure stops us from putting the next foot forward and achieving our goals. We are all programmed to survive, not thrive. The one that's prepared to take the risk is the one that will thrive. So, we are all hardwired that when there's like danger, for our heart rate to go up, for the adrenaline to go up and to kind of like run away, right? Like if we think about like cavemen and stuff like that, there's dinosaurs and stuff running around. We were all programmed to basically hide in the cave and run away from all the danger. But the dude that actually had the balls to go out there and kill the Tyrannosaurus Rex, well, he's the guy with the big fat belly that had amazing food and ate because he was prepared to take the risk. And so it's about overcoming our 50,000-year-old brain telling us all, this is scary. Do you know what I mean? Like starting a business, like I'm not going to have an employer anymore. I'm going to have to like fend for myself. Like I'm going to have to put like food on the table. It's all going to be on my shoulders. It's my responsibility. I'm going to have to talk to people. I'm going to have to learn new skills. This is really, really scary. And then we like run away. We put it off. We procrastinate because we don't have the balls to do it. Just take that one step forward. And so even though we have these dreams and ambitions, they never become a reality. They just stay as dreams and ambitions because our brain is telling us not to go out there with a spear and kill the Tyrannosaurus Rex and eat heartily forever. It's telling us to go and hide in the cave, right? And that's because that's something that's literally hard coded into all of us as human beings, right? That's why when you're about to jump off of a bridge and do a bungee jump, it's dangerous. So your body, it tells you that it's dangerous and tries to get you to stop and not to do it. And so it's the same with like running your own business. It's scary, do you know what I mean? To step out there in the world. And it's really about overcoming those fears, those internal hardwired worries and nervousness that actually stops us from taking that next step. And if you can do that, if you can overcome those anxieties, then and only then will you be successful. And so the key to this, the question is, how do you do this, John? Like, how do you overcome this? And I'm sure people watching this have experienced this to some degree. You could be, maybe you're a carpet cleaner, you're an owner operator, you've got like one truck and you have this dream about having a multi-truck operation. You have this dream about not having to go out there and do the grueling work every day, having to be out there on the road 7, 8, 9, 10 hours cleaning crap out of carpets. You wish that you paid other people to do it and you just sat at home and counted the money and ran the business, right? And took your wife on holidays and stuff like that. And the thing that's stopping you is that fear. It's like, trusting somebody else to go out there and clean the carpets. Nobody does it as good as you. And it's scary, like basically finding somebody, interviewing somebody, like training them them up, letting them loose in your business and your truck or your equipment. What if this happens? What if that happens? And that fear is stopping you from like making that next step, right? And so ultimately, unless you can overcome that fear within yourself, you're going to be an owner operator for the rest of your life. And you're probably going to retire with a bad knees and never have really been able to achieve the ambitions that you had for yourself and your family, and never been able to achieve the financial goals and maybe the freedoms that you had, because your fears, your anxieties get in the way of taking that next step. So how do we overcome this? Number one is to tell your brain, actively, consciously tell your brain to shut the F up. Like literally whenever those thoughts of anxiety, and I had this, man, like when I was starting my advertising company for floor cleaning businesses, it was a scary thing. I used to have a full-time job before we went full-time with this and grew it to the level that it's at now. And yeah, it's daunting, do you know what I mean? And so you have to like literally take a step back and be like, brain, shut up, and just push those thoughts, those worries, those concerns to the back of your mind. And anytime they kind of come up, just banish them away and maybe do something else that's going to distract you, put some music on or think about something else, and just constantly repeat and doing that. And you might find that if you have a lot of anxiety that over things like this, that those thoughts are constantly coming back, and you might find yourself 20 times a day saying, shut up, brain, like constantly repeating yourself. But the more times that you tell your brain to shut up, the noise gets that little bit more quiet every single time, and eventually it just goes like to the back of your mind, and eventually it'll just disappear. So number one piece of advice is to consciously tell your brain to just shut up, be quiet, and eventually it will go away. The next thing is something that I call failing forward, and something else which is done is better than perfect. So many people spend so much time like messing about with their website, and it's like you speak to them and it's like 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, still working on the website, and in their mind they feel like they're doing something that's moving their business forward, but really it's just like they're just procrastinating, and they're not actually taking the real next step because they're scared. And so they busy themselves by doing these little fun things. I'm redesigning my logo, or I'm redoing my website. And it makes them feel good about themselves, that they're actually moving the needle forward, when actually they're not. They're using it as an excuse not to take that bigger next step. And so my thing is like, look, keep moving forward, and like as you move forward, as you go through that process, not everything's going to work out correctly. There's going to be some failures. There's going to be a learning process, and not everything has to be perfect first time around. But the main thing is that you just keep moving the needle forward, and you kind of learn as you go, and that's absolutely fine. So fail forward, keep moving forward and figure things out as you move through that journey. The next thing that I want to say, next big piece of advice, is to fall in love with the process. When I was starting my company out, the fact that I was doing something for myself, I absolutely loved it, and actually absolutely fell in love with the process of like starting and growing and implementing all the things that I needed to do in my business. And even when things didn't work out, even when people said like no to me, like on sales calls, I absolutely loved it, because I felt like I was working on my own thing. It felt great to be learning new things, and when things didn't go to plan, it just motivated me, and it just inspired me just more to kind of like figure it out and to kind of chase after it and like understand and kind of like overcome that challenge. So really like fall in love with the process of like learning, fall in love with the process of like failing and then figuring things out, and then that feeling that you get when finally it all kind of comes together and you overcome that challenge. Fall in love with the process. Enjoy the learning experience. Accept and understand that it takes time. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time to go from like A to B. I started thinking about my business in 2017 and like started to read and understand stuff. 2018 is like when I started to really like implement and stuff. And it's taken me till now, 2022, to get to the point where we're a multi-employee, multi-office business with hundreds of floor cleaning clients all over the world. It's taken 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it is, to get to this thing. It takes time. Look at the biggest, like most famous entrepreneurs on the planet. Elon Musk, SpaceX. It took him 10 years, a decade, to be able to launch a rocket into space successfully. Every single time for 10 years, he would launch a rocket and it would fail. It would explode, it would blow up, it would disintegrate. 10 years it took him to successfully launch a rocket. Look at Jeff Bezos, Amazon. For a decade, Amazon did not make a profit. They were losing millions and and millions of dollars every year, whilst they figured out all the systems and processes, whilst they built all of these fulfillment centers worldwide. And it was only after like a decade that these guys actually started to turn a profit. It takes time to be successful in business. It takes a long time, and accept that. And that's fine. Accept that you are going to fail. Accept that it's going to be a learning experience. Accept that it's going to take time. And once you come to terms with that and you start to enjoy that experience of learning new things, of taking those steps forward, and you just minimize that noise, that anxiety, tell it to go away, that's when you're going to start to really make those leaps and bounds forward in your business. And you're going to get such a sense of achievement. It's going to feel incredible. And it's really important that you understand the compound effect. And so there's a really amazing book that you can read. It's called The Slight Edge. Look it up. The Slight Edge is one of the best books I ever read. And one of the things that, and the gist of this book is that if you save $1 a day, after 7 days, it's just $7. It's nothing. But after 100 days, that $1 a day becomes $100. And if you do that for 10 years, that's a lot of money. Over time, it stacks up. And so it's the same with like business. If you're making a small step forward every day, you're being brave every day, and you're just making that one small step forward and moving that needle forward and actually doing something that's actually going to have an impact. After one day, are you going to be a multi-millionaire, multi-truck operation? Of course not. But those small steps every day, over time, they compound, and it turns into a bigger step and a bigger step. And that's how you find your success. So I really hope that you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button down below so that you get notified when the next video comes out. And if you'd like to find out a little bit more about working with us on a one-on-one basis, head down to the description where you'll find a link to our website where you'll be able to find out more information and you'll be able to book a call. See you on the next one, guys. Laters.